This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
What's going on, everybody? Hour 2 of Money Moves on a post-title Tuesday coming at you live from downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. I'm Stormy Buonanthony. He's Matt Brown. Why are you giving me that frowned eyebrow situation?
I'm just looking at, all of the responses here to something we'll hit on in a little bit. Like, there are a lot of people who are interested in how this goes down. We made a menu, in honor of the Masters, and people have some hot takes, including producer Brian behind the glass, who's going to get just absolutely roasted here in a little bit by us.
So, coming up in about 15 minutes, that is a good tease. We will get into some more thoughts about the Masters, obviously coming up at Augusta National, getting underway on Thursday. Tonight is the Champions Dinner with Scotty Scheffler hosting with his menu, so we have made our own.
We have the tee times coming out as well, so we're just looking at these. We got an interesting one in Rory is going to tee it up with Ludwig, so they're in Akshay Bhatia. We got Hideki and Bryson DeChambeau and our boy Lowry. So we're going to have Matsuyama, DeChambeau, and Lowry. How you like that one?
That's fun.
There we go.
Ludwig Oberg, of course, coming in second a year ago. Good for him. So we'll get into all of that in a little bit. We also have VSiN's own managing editor of VSiN.com, Adam Burke, who's going to join us for the final half hour of the program. Some best bets at the end of the show. I know we were going to dive into a little more of the College Basketball National Championship here, but real quickly, I did want to mention, because coming up in about 10 minutes, so while we're in the commercial break, this game is going to get underway in Yankees and Tigers. You want to rehash some of those final thoughts on the game for people trying to get involved?
Yeah, so looking at this one again, it's a lean towards the over here in this one for me. It was an original lean towards the under, and then you look at Carlos Carrasco and you just look at all the stuff that's going on with him and the blow up potential and the blow up factor for him in this one is a pretty strong lean to the under. And again, I can't back the Tigers as big favorites. I understand that Skubal is amazing, and I understand that I'm sitting here telling you the reason I like that the over is because Carrasco is a gas can, but at the same time, you have like a Tigers lineup that is just so incredibly fragile. And so they hit sometimes, they don't hit other times. I like to back them as dogs. I don't like to back them as favorites. And so lean to the over here for me, maybe a small bet here in the next 10 minutes or something like that. So we have a sweat. So we have an early sweat, but that's it for me.
And I ended up firing 3 bets on this game because I'm an animal.
Let it go.
You showed the plus 136 on the screen. That's the number at DraftKings right now, but shop around. I here at Circa in the last commercial break took the Yankees on the money line plus 148. I also bet the over 7.5 runs at minus 105. Actually, I think it was minus 101 here. It was minus 101 here, minus 105 largely across the board, though. Still good price wherever you get it. And Aaron Judge over 1.5 total bases. That price plus 120. Skubal, for as good as and amazing as a pitcher as he is, not having a good start to the year. 150 whip, allowed 7 earned runs over his first 2 starts. Yankees hitters exploit the obvious. A fastball heavy pitcher with barrel rate problems. I think this could be a good opportunity for the Yankees as a nice money line dog here. Skubal has a barrel rate in the bottom 20% of MLB right now, a hard hit rate that's just above league average. And everything you said about Carrasco too, I feel like the over is very much so in play. You even recommended a potential alt over. I just stuck with the standard over 7.5, and Judge, a guy who has been off to a good start this season, and I know you don't put much stock up into the pitcher-batter matchups, especially this early in the season, but Aaron Judge has had some success against Skubal in his 14 at-bats. So that's how we're going.
This coming through just real quick. Cody Bellinger did get scratched out of this one due to food poisoning.
Oh, that's no fun.
Aaron Boone said that they believe he ate some bad wings last night.
Oh, God.
So he had some undercooked chicken, maybe?
No.
Ugh.
Undercooked chicken, if there's a way to get sick, undercooked chicken is just, and I don't know if this happens. I am terrified of undercooking my chicken, which I'm not terrified of salmonella because I eat cookie dough like it's my job, but chicken specifically, if you see the pink or you sense there might be a pink situation, even when I've cut
I don't mess around with pink.
Even when I've had marinade and I've cut the chicken and I'm like, is that the marinade or is that this chicken? I throw it back on just in case.
I eat an abnormally large amount of chicken, and I'll tell you right now, zero. Like, I mean, the slightest hint of pink, it's getting tossed back in for like another couple minutes. I just can't do it. I can't go there.
What might actually be worse than pink chicken, but is still chicken related, is when the chicken is just off and it tastes like that.
A mean chicken? Like he's just an off
You know what
chicken?
I'm talking about? Like, have you ever just had like a bad piece of chicken where you cut through it and it's like rubbery and it's just... Do you know what I'm talking about? It's turned me off chicken before.
This is gonna sound like so. People are gonna just roast all my food stuff today because they're gonna roast the menu and they're gonna be like,
people like your menu.
I'll throw that chicken breast away.
Yeah.
Like I don't, because something to me is when it's rubbery.
Yeah.
And I have trouble cutting chicken. Like it just gets thrown away.
Well,
I can't do it.
And like you said, you eat an ungodly amount of chicken.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of chicken as well. I quite frankly like. You vegan people are amazing because I could not do it. I put protein on everything that I eat, and chicken is the easiest one to do, and I make it all the time. And when I go through that and I have a bad one, I can't eat chicken for like a month after that before I build it back up in my system that I can do it again. Yeah. Neither here nor there.
Gotta go.
Enough about the chicken.
Yes.
You know who wasn't a chicken? The Florida Gators last night, who
they were
clamped down and handled business.
You feed gators chicken. Like you do, you really do. Like you feed gators chicken. Like if you're trying to trap an alligator or whatever, you put like a raw chicken out there and they come and they eat it and whatever. So there you go. They eat the raw chicken.
So you're obviously like a Louisiana guy, and there are gators in the swamp and all of that stuff. Sorry, Florida, Louisiana, putting it all together.
Yeah.
I was shocked the first time I went to Florida's campus to see actual signs that said "Beware of gators."
I know, right?
Like. Is that a thing?
It's just odd. It's just anytime there's swampland, gators could
No,
definitely be all
you.
around. I will say this we talked a little bit about this I think about a month and a half ago on the show, but we were saying that as people start to look forward, yes, there are odds that are already out for next year, and if you if you didn't like what you got this year, I have bad news for you. So Duke's 10-1, Houston's 12-1, UConn's 14-1. Now here's the interesting one: BYU is 16-1, and we'll talk about why here in just a second with that. Purdue 18, Arkansas is 20, Kentucky's 20, Kansas is 20. Everybody else is 22 or longer. But you go over here, and Stormy, the number one recruit in the entire country, obviously going to Kansas, right? Obviously going to Duke. Obviously going to North Carolina. Obviously going to BYU.
Yeah.
For the number one recruit in the entire country. That being said, if you're wondering why Duke is your short shot, and yes, Duke is going to have three freshmen, their three top players leave because they're all going to be lottery picks, including the number one overall pick in the draft in Cooper Flagg. Well, guess what? They have Carlos Boozer's twins coming to town. So Cameron Boozer is the number 3 player in the country, signed, sealed, delivered there for Duke. Then they have Sheldon Henderson, the number 14 player in the entire country, signed, sealed, delivered to Duke. Then they have the number 15 player in the country, and then they have Boozer's other kid as the 24th player in the country, all signed to Duke. So they have 4 of the top 24 players coming in to play for this team next year.
They're going to be good again.
Like literally 4 of the top 24. There are tens of thousands of high school basketball players, and they have the 4 of the top 24 in the entire country coming into their school next year.
Also, just to have a little callback to the national championship here and the Final Four, when you were watching last night's game, did you not once or twice think Duke should win? Duke should be here. Duke should win this game. Like, I didn't even have anything invested in the Blue Devils. I had Florida and Houston futures. I should have been happy, but I couldn't help but think Duke should be here. And based on the way these teams are playing right now, I feel like Duke could win this game either way.
But it's the truth.
It is, right?
But it's the truth. Yeah.
Also, we mentioned earlier in the show that the results last night, despite both of us having won futures on Florida, it was a bittersweet result for me personally. That is because I have to pay the piper. Now, when it comes to our head-to-head draft NCAA tournament wager between Matt and I will fulfill the losing end of this wager this afternoon, where I have already checked the temperature of my pool. For anyone who doesn't know, the loser of the bet had to go fully clothed into my cold pool. Full cold plunge today. And the temperature, 59 degrees, so it's not super cold, but I thought it was going to be colder. If it happened yesterday, it would have been 50 degrees, but today it's warmer. There's nothing I can do about it.
This is garbage. We have to find a colder pool.
You want to put some ice cubes in my pool?
We have to find a colder pool.
It's a warm day today. I don't know what you want me to do.
We have to find a colder pool.
Should I not have told him the temperature? I still have to fully submerge my body.
We'll talk about this after the show.
You get to push me into a pool fully clothed. Is that not a victory?
I mean, this is 50. It was 9 degrees colder yesterday.
It's true, but the sun is a pumping, which I
don't like this. This is under protest. I'm filing a formal protest with HR here at VSiN. He's coming in. HR department. I just want to let you know I'm coming in with a formal complaint. I don't like this.
It did work out nicely in our competition. Oh, and also kudos to you. We knew it based on the result yesterday that you were going to bet whatever Jensen Lewis bet, but you end up coming out on top, solo winner of the March Madness contest.
I did. I know everybody out there. I know you probably expected me to come in here with a big victory lap, but honestly, what it was is I just knew I was going to win the whole time. Like before we even started the contest, like I went in, I was very confident. I did the work, I put in the time. Every now it's the blood, sweat, and tears, Stormy, that leads into these contests that gets it done. And so for me, I went in and the excellence just shone through, and I feel pretty good about it. I don't think I won anything other than me being able to just look at the camera and give this speech right now. So that's all. That's about it. I don't think there was a prize for us actually. So it's over. Literally when we go to break, it's over. That's it. That's the last.
65-63, the final last night for the Gators. Total goes well under, which is why that comes through for both you and Jensen for you to get that win. But a fun competition throughout the course of the tournament. And kudos to everybody out there who had Florida led for all of 1 minute and 3 seconds last night, but that was all you needed to get the dub. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, our Masters menus and best bets for who's going to win the green jacket.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
And just like that, we're back in uniform as we welcome you back to Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, alongside Matt Brown, Stormy Buonanthony with you, geared up and ready for the Masters taking place at Augusta National
I was checking out your bet live.
What are you seeing?
Aaron Judge just struck out.
All right.
I thought you were going to be able to. It would have been
that
fun.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, it would have been fun if I could have gone like, oh, and by the way, guess what? Aaron Judge just cashed your bet.
Speaking of which, producer Brian Ortega, if you could help a sister out and get that game on one of the TVs in here, that would be helpful so I don't break my neck turning back around. Although some people on social media might like that for me. But
never.
Just kidding.
Never.
Just kidding.
Never.
That got dark fast, but what can I say? That's who I am. Needless to say, we got the Masters coming up this week. Mm-hmm. We have all this awesome gear because you were at the Masters a year ago, although it was not your favorite experience in the world.
No, I'm going to have to try to go back.
I think you need to.
Actually be able to watch it because like half the time I had my head in my lap because of all of the debris that was flying.
And I think also you go into it with a certain level of expectation, and when it doesn't meet that, it's disappointing. But now you have the lay of the land that when you go back the next time, kind of how to formulate a plan and what to do.
And I'll have to sneak in booze like old school college football game style. So when I was going into Tiger Stadium as a student, you would tape the flask to your inner thighs and stuff and whatever, because they'll pat you down, but they won't get up into the groin area, and so like that.
Ooh, you could also do the fake lotion bottle, fake sunscreen bottle. That's always a winner as well. That type of deal,
because you can't get booze there, guys, and so that was a big letdown. That's something that is not talked about near enough. Is you show up on the grounds and you cannot have booze. It is literally beer and wine only, and that's for your boy here these days, that doesn't fly.
Hopefully no parents just pick their kids up from school and are listening to this and giving them all of these bad ideas. But that said, let's get some good ideas in terms of golfers in the Masters that you think are worth approaching this week and kind of what you are looking for.
Yeah, so the way that this course is set up, guys, it's a long, hard, tree-lined course, and it's going to be super driver heavy. You're going to need to be most likely either long off the tee or very accurate. Obviously, long and accurate is the best of those, but you're going to need to be long and or very accurate. And so you go in, there is a stat you can look at, guys, called total driving. It blends distance and accuracy, in which you can go in and see, if that is how the approach that you want to go with it. probably not a shocker to most people whenever we are sorting through total driving. You'll see Scottie Scheffler at the top. You'll see Rory McIlroy towards the top. You'll see all these guys towards the top at total driving because they're just really good at golf and they hit it a long way and they hit it straight. And so that was, a big emphasis on me in driving distance, total driving, different things like that. Approach is always an important aspect of everything, especially for this where I think they're going to bake these greens out and make them very, very fast and very hard to hold, which also comes into play for the around the green. So strokes gained around the green also very important to me here in the model that I put together. So if you go out to any of these other sites out there, disclaimer, like I always say, I'm not a programmer. I didn't invent these models, but I go in and put the information into the models that I find important, and then it spits out the numbers. That is what I really weighed heavily. Driving distance, approach game, and around the green game was the three biggest for me, and then a close fourth would be par 5 scoring because that's where you do all your scoring here at Augusta. It is the hardest par 4s on the tour. The par 3s, even though they're not all that long, are very tough just because of the way that the greens are sloped and things like that. And so you just got to go get your scoring at the par 5s. They're actually, every single one of the par 5s are gettable by these guys in 2. And so eagle opportunities for some, but at least birdie opportunities for everybody else. So you've got to do your scoring on the par 5s. And of course, the longer you hit it, Stormy, the easier it is to score on the par 5s.
Okay, so with that in mind, Scottie Scheffler is your favorite to repeat. Rory McIlroy, second shot there, trying to complete the Grand Slam. Obviously, it's been a long time since he's won a major. Could this finally be it? Could this be the year with the form that he is in? I know he's someone, even at the short number, that you are interested in. We also discussed Shane Lowry earlier at 45-1. I have him as a top 20. I think I'm going to add an outright. I was also contemplating a Colin Morikawa top 10 potentially because all the value has been sucked out of the top 20, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I don't think he quite has enough in him to win. So those are a few angles that I am looking at. Anything that you have in pocket worth sharing now? And again, if you don't give everything now, that's fine.
Sure.
There is the live long shots that's coming up right after our show today. Yeah.
One of the things I will add about just the placement market numbers, you are getting shorter than you would normally get. One, the field is only 94 players as it is. And then on top of that, as we said, like of those 94, only 60 really have a chance, like at all. So if you're betting a top 20, you're really just betting the guy to finish in the top third of the field, right? Which is pretty good. And so just remember that whenever you're putting together your card. Like I said, I'm going to walk down here when this is over, and I'm going to bet Rory McIlroy. It's too much for me to pass up right here when all the stars are aligned on what he's got going on right now. He is playing the best he has played in a decade. Every single stat just pops. And like, if you model, we have this thing, like we'll say like green across the board, right? Which is just basically like every one of these stats that you put in color coded to let you know how high they finish, in relative to everybody else in the field and the model. He's green across the board. He's bright green basically across the board in almost every single one of the categories. And I love Rory McIlroy this week. We talked about Shane Lowry, another guy that is way, way up in the model for me, which I thought was very interesting. Shane Lowry, my model goes Rory McIlroy, Scottie Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Shane Lowry. So the fourth guy in my model, you can find at 45-1 out there in the market right now, which is like anytime there's that big of a discrepancy, I will nearly almost blindly play that, right? Because that's how high that he has finished in there for me. Some other guys that I think that I'm going to be going like up, that I'm going to be at least having some sort of exposure to, be it in the outright market or be it in the placement market. Sepp Straka, he's going to be super popular this week amongst a lot of people, Stormy, but Sepp Straka really high, inside the top 10 for me, and you can find him as far as like 75-1 out there.
Okay, excellent. And again, just a reminder, long shots each and every week, breaking down whatever PGA event is up. Obviously, this week, the Masters, the biggest one that we're going to see all year. Matt Brown, Kelly Bidlin, Wes Reynolds, all breaking it down. They're going to have their podcast live on the YouTube channel for VSiN immediately following this show. So you can either keep it locked here on Prop Points or join them for long shots coming up in a bit. And if you are like me and you're not great at betting every single sport, remember Rhythm is here to help. The best bettors use data to get ahead, so why not put AI to work for you? Rhythm's an app that helps you build personal personalized betting models, analyze trends, and make sharper picks for every game, whether you're a seasoned bettor or somebody who's just looking for an edge. Rhythm is here to help. 50% off an annual course subscription right now when you use our promo code VSIN, or 25% off your first month with the promo code HOOPS25 as we close out this college basketball season. Rhythm.com, RITHMM.com.
There you go.
Now let's get into a rhythm with our Masters menus.
Yes.
Thank you to everybody who has chimed in on social media. It seems like we've got a pretty good split here of people who like my menu, people who like yours, some critiques of our menu, which rude. But let's do yours first. What do you have? Because yours is very unique and says a lot about you and your roots, which I love.
I did appetizers. We decided we were going to do 2 appetizers, 2 entree choices, sides, and then dessert. With the appetizers, a little crawfish etouffee for people who want to get some spice in their life to start things off here. If you're watching at home, this is on the screen as well. And then I got some cheese fondue with pretzel rolls. Come on, man. Who doesn't love a good pretzel roll? Now you're dipping it in cheese. Done.
That was my favorite item on your menu.
Ooh, that is so incredibly
good.
Entrees, filet mignon, king crab legs. Listen, I get it, guys. Y'all are critiquing y'all don't like us putting filet. I mean, hey, it's my steak of choice. I'm sorry.
I have filet as a main course on mine as well. I love filet mignon. It's my favorite steak. Somebody tweeted us, Jason Stark said, couldn't either of you offer us a man steak? I'll take Scotty's menu over both of these. Well, I am a woman, so it's okay.
You should get a VSiN Pro subscription so you could see, and you would see that she's a woman.
Believe it or not. Yeah. Also, I did contemplate doing a tomahawk, but filet, it's my favorite. Honestly, if I was on my deathbed and I had one meal left, it would be a medium rare filet. Yeah. So, okay,
I did jambalaya, jalapeno mac and cheese, sauteed spinach for sides, and then white chocolate bread pudding as a dessert. It is a really, really, really good, well-rounded menu, in my opinion.
I have never had white chocolate bread pudding.
Woo!
I've had bread pudding, but not
It'll
that
be on
type.
me. It'll be on me. There we go.
Awesome. Here's mine for you. My appetizers. I threw in my steakhouse specialties and my Italian stuff. Burrata with balsamic and sourdough loaf as an appetizer, as well as a wedge salad. Big wedge gal over here. My entrees, just like you, filet mignon. I also did homemade cheese ravioli with spicy Italian sausage. My sides, garlic mashed potatoes, and a pan-roasted broccolini with lemon and herb. And for dessert, to round out the function, a beautiful warm butter cake with vanilla ice cream, and add the berries, strawberries, and blackberries for flavor. Oh, put it all together.
You had me until the berries, and then there's the fruit and dessert. To me, I'm not a big fruit and dessert person.
Flick it to the side. It's not impeding your dessert.
I know, but it's just it's like
the juice. No, there's no juices. I didn't say a compote. Just put the berries over there if you don't want them. I am a big blackberry gal. But
are you like to get the blackberry on the fork and then get the cake?
I do. Yeah. I love it. Big fan. But truly, my 2 favorite meals in life are a filet mignon and cheese ravioli. And so those were my items.
Those talking trash about a filet, you hadn't had a good filet. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
you hadn't had a good filet.
You tripping, boo. We'll be right back. Adam Burke joins us on the desk next.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Some pretty shocking news coming through moments ago in the NBA as we welcome you back here to Money Moves on a Tuesday. He's Matt Brown, Stormy Buonanthony with you. We've got Adam Burke, VSiN.com managing editor here on the desk with us as well. So great to have a third man here on the table to break down what just transpired. ESPN's Shams Charania 2 minutes ago tweets, the Denver Nuggets have fired coach Michael Malone. Sources tell ESPN. Adam Schefter even retweeted it to validate. And guys, for a Nuggets team that in a very compact Western Conference, as we were talking about earlier when we were breaking down the NBA slate, is a game and a half back of a 3 seed right now in the conference, and we are a week or so out from the postseason. Stunning news.
Something was said, because it says that he was dismissed in a meeting today. He's the winningest coach in franchise history since being hired in 2015 and led the Nuggets to the 2023 NBA championship. And, of course, this is only days before the playoffs. So I'm guessing he must have said some things in the meeting.
Or did.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. I mean, I just looked up, to see what people were saying on the social medias here. And at Nugget Watcher, who I presume watches way more Denver Nuggets basketball than I do.
Yes.
Said that, and I don't know, this is not an expert opinion by any means, but this is a team that has lost 4 in a row. Says it felt like he's lost the team. So I don't know if it's been the way that they've played. Certainly defensively, they haven't looked particularly good here of late. But look, I mean, maybe this is a move that you want to make now just so that you can kind of turn the tide heading into the playoffs.
I mean, that's a lot of the rationale that we had heard coming out of the Grizzlies firing their head coach a week ago as well, that potentially they had lost the team. But a 4-game losing streak seems like not much to let somebody go for when you have the team that you have in a Western Conference that sure is heavy at the top with OKC, but otherwise to at least make a push very open and available.
I mean, 7 of 10, too. So, it seems like they haven't been playing particularly well for a sustained stretch here. I mean, they've only won consecutive games once since the early part of March. So, a team that's probably just not firing on all cylinders. And if you want to be a team that can take on the Thunder in the Western Conference, you got to have all your ducks in a row heading into the postseason. And I guess they felt like they didn't. Or, to Matt's point, maybe something was said today that, got him fired.
That sealed the deal there for sure. But, I mean... Yeah, I mean, even if you don't like the performance, even down the stretch, right? It's just the reason I believe that something must have gone down in this meeting or whatever is because you still can't think that it's a better scenario to have to bring an interim dude in in your playoff stretch.
And I mean,
right?
Jamal Murray also hasn't been playing, so I don't know.
Interesting stuff. Well, I guess we will. You know what? Here's the good thing about today's. We're going to know pretty soon because someone's going to find something out.
Yeah.
It'll come out here. You know what? I want to ask you real quick before we get into actual sporting things, whatever. Were you did you watch our the meals that we had prepared, and do you have a preference on one or the other?
I mean, I think both of them were good. Both of them were
very different.
Very approachable.
He's toeing the line. Okay, all right.
I'm partial to Stormy's though.
Let's go.
Do you have a steak take?
I'm a filet guy.
See?
Let's go.
3
Thank
for 3.
you. Thank you.
So our wonderful producer Brian
and
Ortega.
he has a beard, by the way. And you would expect people that have beards that are going to eat ribeyes and things or whatever. This is a bearded man who just said he likes filet.
I get the value of the fat and the marbling and all that. It's like meat chewing gum texturally, and I'm not a fan of that.
I love Brian Ortega with all of my heart. In
Thank
so
you.
many areas, he is so knowledgeable, and food is usually one of them. Not today, sir.
No.
He said that filet
Horrible
is
take.
overrated. There's no shot.
Horrible take. It's a horrible take.
I mean, I can see it if you get an overcooked filet and then it kind of dries out. I could totally see that.
But that's not what we're talking about.
Right, exactly.
My filet is medium rare, cooked to perfection in this menu.
And that's the other thing.
They're
And
going to be ready for
people
it.
say all the time, oh yeah, well, if you get it overdone, it's whatever. Well, okay, a bad steak is a bad steak. I mean,
Yeah.
so we're talking obviously prepared properly.
Correct.
Right. You don't. You're. No one's saying your ravioli. Well, what if the noodles are burnt or whatever? I mean, I know we're assuming that the noodles are cooked properly.
That it's done properly.
Yeah.
You also had an opinion on my dessert when you walked in.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think the butter cake thing. I think you just did that because of your husband, because that's his favorite dessert.
I made that his favorite dessert, but okay,
all right,
it's fine.
My bad. No, I did look. So for those who don't know, Stormy and I are we the president and CEO of the Handles fan club?
Yeah.
Handles Ice Cream. There's going to be a third location out here in Vegas soon. It's an Ohio thing, but their ice cream is elite. Graham Central Station, the best flavor. I was surprised you didn't have that as part of your dessert.
If I could do 2, it would be on there. I love some Graham Central Station. It has I don't know how to describe the texture of the ice cream it handles, but it's unlike ice cream that I've had anywhere else. And in Graham Central Station specifically, they have what I'm sure that they at the store don't actually call it this, but I call them graham cracker pockets.
Yeah.
Within the ice cream. It's
so
unbelievable.
good.
But the warm butter cake, I turned Chris on to that because I did a shoot at the Top of the World when I was working for the Golden Knights where I got to do a free meal tasting. And I said, I ate the best cake in the history of cake the other day. We have to try it. And now every year for his birthday, we've had butter cake since.
I haven't had the Top of the World one. I've had the one at Emmett Smith's Steakhouse at Fashion Show Mall. That is very, very good.
You have more news?
Yeah. So they fired the GM.
Is it from Nugget Watcher?
They just cleaned house. So they fired the GM as well. So they're just getting rid of everybody. They're just hey, you know what? I'm sure Nugget Watcher will have like a.
Oh, I'm sure. Do you want me to? I'll find out.
At nugwatch.com or whatever it is.
The only Nugget Watcher I am is at Wendy's. Top tier nuggets, spicy nuggets, barbecue sauce.
If when a female says Nugget Watcher, it just doesn't like. We can't do it. We just got to move. Let's just move right.
You're the one that made it weird.
Let's just move right on it. But yes, GM out as well. So I guess it wasn't something he said. I guess they really and truly just were like, hey, you know what? We're losing too many games in this stretch, and I don't care that the playoffs are like tomorrow. You're out of here. Everyone's gone.
Nuggets in the Western Conference, 8-1. OKC -130 favorite, followed by Golden State and the Lakers at +550 and +650 respectively. But again, the Nuggets there at 8-1 and a game and a half back of the 3 seed in the Western Conference. Fire their head coach and their general manager in the last 10 minutes.
I just don't even know. I mean, I don't even know.
All right.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, again, I've never been a team owner, so I don't know if this is something I would do, but I kind of look at it and say, I probably would just wait until, after the playoffs and then clean house.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I guess I get firing the coach, right? Like, if something just happens internally, maybe he did lose the team or maybe they're not happy with the team's effort, whatever. But to do it along with the GM, like a couple weeks before the playoffs start, but, obviously the play-in tournament's, next week? But, yeah, that's the weird part to me, to fire the GM now, too. Like, again, maybe the coach did something, said something, maybe the veterans on the team said whatever. That happens, right? But the GM at the same time, this late in the year, that's strange.
Yeah.
Okay, I know next segment we're going to get into some more best bets. We do have one Major League Baseball game in action right now. The Tigers up 1-0 in the bottom of the second over the Yankees. Are you sweating anything in that game? Did you have anything involved?
No, I love Carlos Carrasco, the human being. I would not bet on him in any game. And obviously I don't want to go against Tarek Skubal either. So nothing on that one.
I have like 80 bets on that one, so prayers up for your girl. But the over is one of them, so if we could get some more runs going, that would be great. As you looked through the MLB slate, and I know you have articles out almost every day on VSiN.com breaking down your bets and angles, what's one game that stood out to you?
Yeah, Monday through Saturday best bets, and then I write a Sunday night baseball preview on Sundays just because there's so many day games. Obviously, we're 3 hours behind with the time change, so it's just hard for me to really deep dive into the card on a Sunday. So that's why I just preview the Sunday night baseball game. There were a couple of things that stood out here, and they stood out yesterday too. There's a lot of cold weather games right now in this, this week, this early weekday set of series. So there's that, right? I mean, it's very, very cold in Pittsburgh here today with Paul Skeens and Sonny Gray. Did play the under 6.5 in that one. Typically don't like to play super low unders, but Gray's racking up a ton of swings and misses, and obviously Paul Skeens is the best pitcher on the planet. So there is that. But keep that in mind. There's a lot of cold weather games here today. So generally speaking, you're not going to get a lot of offense in those because A, nobody wants to be out there, and B, it's just really hard for the ball to carry. So again, make sure you're paying attention to the weather here in these early season games because you're going to get some very, very cold days. Home opener in Cleveland is supposed to be temperatures in the 30s. Feels like it's in the 20s. It
snowed in Colorado, exactly. In the middle of the game.
So the ball's just not going to carry in some of these environments. So that's something you got to keep in mind.
Yeah, I played a little bit on the Cardinals in that game against the Pirates. Again, I'm never playing the Pirates as big favorites. I don't care if Skeens is on the hill or not. They don't hit enough for me in that one. Real quick, in 30 seconds, panic level for the Braves team. I mean, listen, it's one thing when it's like, okay, slow start. It's another thing when it's 1-8, you lose your leadoff hitter, and you don't really know when your superstar is going to be back and how effective he's going to be.
Well, all right, so first I'll say I am on the Phillies today.
Yeah, I am.
However, I'm not really worried about the Braves at all here. I mean, their pitching has been really, really good. They're going to get Spencer Strider back here soon, who just, vaporized minor leaguers in his rehab start. But this is a Braves team. They're 7th in Major League Baseball in hard hit percentage. They're 4th in barrel percentage. This offense is going to come around. They're not having any luck right now offensively. And also, they've been the worst team in the league, or one of them, with runners in scoring position. That's going to change. There's too many good hitters in this lineup. I'm watching the futures markets very, very closely to find my buy point, to take them to win the division, make the playoffs, stuff like that.
And I like that he said he's got the Phillies today because that's a full show play across the board on Philadelphia. Just like Adam's got his MLB articles, he also has one on the Masters first round leader. So we'll get into that and best bets as we round out Money Moves today.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
We are back. This Tuesday edition of Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158. Matt Brown, Stormy Buonanthony with you. Adam Burke on the desk, VSiN.com Managing Editor, holding it down. And obviously, we were talking a lot of baseball earlier. We will get some best bets to round out the day in a moment. But, Adam, you also have an article up at the website right now breaking down the first round of the Masters, which is another approach. We were talking earlier about all the different markets that you could get into, whether it be top 5, top 10, top 20, top Canadian, top U.S. player. But there is also, first round leader, second round leader, lowest score, lots of different markets that you can get involved in.
Yeah, so I dug in the first round leader market, as you said, over at VSiN.com. And what I basically did was I listed the first round leaders over the last 5 versions of the Masters. Remember, 2020 was held in November, so obviously things were a little bit different there. But the first round leaders, the last 5 years, and then also the last 5 years, the top 10 and first round strokes gained total. So guys that played really, really well at the outset of this tournament. And I think Matt can attest to this and why this market is pretty interesting. For example, we know Scottie Scheffler's 4-1 to win this tournament, right? But he's 12-1 to be the first round leader. So, Matt, I don't know how you feel about this, but to me, I think about it, a guy playing well for 1 day and 18 holes is doable. A guy playing well for 72 holes over 4 days, much, much more difficult, which is why the best typically tend to win here. So I think this market kind of gives you some interesting opportunities to not only get better prices than the full tournament number on some of the favorite guys, but also some of those long shots that aren't going to win this thing might play well on Thursday.
Yeah, and the other thing that is just, as you mentioned, a little bit of value in the fact that you get a much bigger. So, the longer shot guys, the number comes down in the first round leader deal. But the shorter shot guys, you actually get a much bigger number in the first round market. So you can go in, and if you have conviction on any of these dudes, you can kind of. It's like an emotional hedge almost, where if you put in a first round leader bet on them and they go out and they have a really great opening round, you cash your ticket and they don't get it done over the 72. They can't play all 4 days. You've already cashed that ticket. That money's already in the account. So if I ever play any of the shorties, I will always play them in a first round leader market as well, because I'm cashing a bigger ticket on them for that first round leader than I am for the full tournament.
Right, and look, as we know, kind of like the NCAA championship in college basketball, it's usually going to be a high-level, pretty elite player. You get the Danny Willits every now and then, and Charles Schwartzel and whatever. It happens, but it's typically going to be an elite player who's going to play well, as I said, for 4 days, maybe not be the best guy in the first round. But I will say this, and kind of researching this a little bit, 65 has been the leading score after the first round in 4 of the last 5 years. So you're aiming for somebody to shoot 65 in all likelihood. But there were a couple of guys that I think are kind of interesting here that I don't think really have much of a shot to win the tournament, but could be guys in the mix for that first round leader spot. So Cameron Young is one of them. Been in the top 10 the last 2 years in strokes gained total. Tied for 6th and tied for 4th after the first round the last couple of years. 70-1 to be the first round leader, 200-1 to win the Masters. So that's exactly what we're talking about, where it's a very long shot, right? Easy triple-digit shot at 200-1. But because he's played well in the first round and can play well for a round here or there, kind of depresses the price a little bit. A couple others that did well in the strokes gained department in the first round, Will Zalatoris and Corey Connors are a couple of guys I'm looking at too.
Yeah, Zalatoris, course history guy here, big time. And same deal with Cam Young. So Cam Young's playing absolute garbage right now, but he has just found his way around Augusta. It's the weirdest thing. He plays better at this really hard course, even when he's not in good form. There's, like I said, there's a handful of guys, for whatever reason, at Augusta have just kind of figured it out. And he's one of them, right? It doesn't really matter what form he's in or what is coming. He steps in and he plays well here.
Well, and Willie Z is an interesting one too, because I don't think any of us would sit here and be like, oh, he's somebody I really want to bet to win the Masters. But from a first round approach and somebody who, again, force history would make sense. I like that.
I can't bet anybody that doesn't weigh 160 pounds. I can't do it. You got to weigh at least 160. That's it. At least 160 is my cutoff.
When he first came out on the tour though, and they were doing those head-to-head comps with the Happy Gilmore, it was so dead on. It was so good.
Well, he can't play on the DP World Tour because he plays one of those windy events. It's just going to blow him over. But look, with Corey Connors, right, and this is something else that I think you would agree with. You get these guys that are really good strokes gained approach, strokes gained off the tee, stuff like that, horribly inconsistent with the putter. Right? Maybe one day they putt really, really well and are the first round leader, but they're not going to putt like that for 72 holes in all likelihood. So you can find guys, I think, in this first round leader market, not just with the Masters, but with other events as well, that have good metrics in a lot of stats, maybe don't putt super well, but with the variance of putting, you can maybe putt well on Thursday.
Exactly. Like one round of running hot with the putter is certainly just the same way that you can fall off in a round with the putter. It's like a deal that I wait. Like, so there are a lot of people who build models and they'll put putting in their model. Like, I never put putting in the model because I think it's such a noisy stat. Like, yes, the dudes there are a handful of guys that putt very, very well on a week-to-week basis, and there are a handful of dudes that putt very poorly on a week-to-week, and you already know who they are. And then everybody in between is typically kind of like this, right? It's like a lot of variance, and so I don't even put it in the model.
Okay, let's get into our best bets presented by GBank, the official bank of VSiN. And remember, everybody, GBank is upping the ante for new GBank Visa Signature Card customers. New customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases 90 days from account opening get a $250 bonus. You can apply now over at vsin.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank, subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions do apply. Matt, I know you and the Long Shots crew are going to do a full show coming up in about 10 minutes live on the YouTube channel, but anything you want to give out officially here quickly?
Yeah, I'm going to do some Rory. Like I said, I'm going to play Shane. I played Shane Lowry already. It's interesting that we brought up Corey Connors because another guy that isn't the prototypical bomber here that you would like, but a guy that I'm also very high on in this. We didn't get to the NFL draft stuff, but I do want to mention something before this kind of gets really, really going here. I did play Jackson Dart under 24.5 in the draft. There is a slight chance, I guess, that he slips into those last few picks and someone trades back into the first round to get him. But it seems as if the momentum for him to go much higher than we thought has really, really picked up here over the last week and a half. And so I did play him under 24.5 over there.
Okay, Adam, anything for you to close out the day?
Well, as I mentioned, I played Cardinals Pirates under 6.5 there. Paul Skeens has looked great in his 2 starts. I expect Paul Skeens to look great in virtually every start. For Sonny Gray, his numbers are a little bit misleading. 5.73 ERA, but a 4.11 expected ERA, 3.32 xFIP. A guy that got pushed a little bit too far in his last start. Wound up loading the bases, gave up a grand slam to Logan O'Hoppe. Before that, he threw 6 innings of 1-run ball. He was really, really good.
He was phenomenal right before that.
Right, so Oliver Marmol just pushed him too far, and that's really what that was. So I took the under 6.5. I'm praying that both these guys can go 6 or 7 because neither bullpen impresses me, but took the under 6.5 there. And then the other one...
we both are on the Phillies, by the way.
Right,
yeah. I like the Phillies here. I didn't write it up for the site, but it is something that I played personally. And the other one that I want to mention here is... Cole Reagan's at -120. I realize Pablo Lopez is good, but the Twins are a mess right now. I played them yesterday. They can't do anything offensively. They're striking out too much. The vibes are really bad with this team. They talked a lot about cutting down payroll. The team was for sale in spring training, all of that. They're playing very tight. Their manager got ejected yesterday. They had a bullpen meltdown on Sunday. They're a mess right now, and the last thing you want to face is a guy like Cole Reagan's when you're in that situation. So I laid the short number with the Royals today. Okay,
we have a full team play today that we're all on the Phillies. Hopefully that can help me earn back a little bit more from how poorly this Yankees-Tigers game is going. We're only through 3 innings, so there's a lot of game left, but still not loving my situation currently. I'm also on the Padres-A's over 8. We talked about this earlier. It's a wave that I have been riding to a 4-0 over start to this point in that ballpark in Sacramento, and just seeing if we can get one more home today. In the Masters, I am with you on Shane Lowry. I haven't put it in the account yet, but I'm going to when we get off the air at 45-1. I do already have him at top 20 at +120. Good form this season. Last 4 starts, tied for 11th, solo 7th, tied for 20th, tied for 8th. Near misses at Pebble Beach and Bay Hill. Solid history at the Masters. Tied for 3rd in 22. Tied for 16th in 23. 4 straight top 25s of former major champions. So,
and he can go win. That's the thing. He can actually go win.
For me, at least when I'm betting top 20s, I want somebody who I think can contend and then feel comfortable with the top 20 and at a plus money price. I like that there. Also, Colin Morikawa, top 10 at +150, leads the PGA in true strokes gained per datagolf.com. Been particularly sharp on approach, which we know is important, and we have talked about at Augusta. Worst finish last 3 starts at the Masters was 10th. So I'm just hoping that he does what he normally does. I'm not sure that I trust him enough to win it, but a top 10 I think is very much in reach for him. And I'm going to join you on Rory. Because if he could do it, I feel like this is the year.
This is it. This is the year.
So best bets presented by GBank, the official bank of VSiN. Again, vsin.com/GBank for more information there. But
guys, this is tied for the latest coach firing in NBA history.
Yeah, for anyone who missed it, the Denver Nuggets letting go of Michael Malone and their general manager today.
Like the latest coaching firing in NBA history, and this team is going to go to the playoffs.
It's just crazy.
Yeah,
they're a game and a half out of the 3 seed. I still can't get over. I just don't understand it. There has to be more than losing the team, right?
Yes.
Like.
The ownership is cheap, is what it is. That's the problem.
Well, again, I think the weird layer to this is the GM too.
Yeah.
At this time of the year.
So it's just
I'm sure we'll find out more.
Yeah.
Shocking, unexpected news. Make sure you listen to JVT later on in the afternoon. I'm sure he's got strong opinions on this one. That's a wrap for us today. Thanks for hanging out on Money Moves. Good luck with your bets and keep it locked right here. Prop Points with Nick Whalen and Jeff Erickson coming up after this.